So I did connect all the wires and make sure everything's working, kind of. The bulbs inside this gauge don't work, so this gauge has to come back off. And this left signal light is blinking a lot slower than the right signal light, although they are lit up the same. The flasher was originally a 3-wire flasher, and it's now a 2-wire flasher. So I'm not sure if that has something to do with it. I'll have to look into that as well. I replaced the 2 bulbs in here. Now all that wiring's done, I can put the headlight in. This is the headlight ring that I had. It was kind of all scratched up. And I found one that was in much better shape. Chrome's really good on it. So we'll put that one in. And the headlight's back in. The better ring. I put new screws in it to make them look okay. Yeah. Brakes finally. So beginning on the front brake, this is the old caliper. This is the new front caliper. Some assembly required. The seals in here, the piston, the front brake shoe, the one that goes on the back side, and this, which I don't know where it goes, but the only place I can see it fitting is there. I'm not sure which way this piston goes, so I'm going to take this pad out and have a look. I've tried and tried and tried to get this shoe out. I don't have air to press in here or any hydraulics, so I mean, I've tried slamming on it, hammering on it, see if I can get it to move in or out, and nothing. It won't budge. So we're going to put this together the way I believe it goes. And we're going to start with this seal that goes in this groove. Then we're going to put the piston in, the brake shoe in. I'm going to put some brake fluid on this O-ring and then stick it inside the caliper. You know what? There's some rubber hanging up on the edge of this lip. I'm going to get that off so it doesn't get caught underneath the piston. All right, seal is in. Let's lube this up. Make sure it's super clean. Okay. Now, if you want to get that pad in, I believe, and I don't know why that thing is there. I don't know. I mean, do we need this? That's one half. The other half, we simply put the pad in. We're going to put a cotter pin in. To hold that pad. Except we're going to drop the cotter pin. All right, take two. That cotter pin in and just bend the ends over to hold that shoe in. All right. Let's put the bleeder in. We won't tighten that, just hand tight. And then let's put this on the bike. One good thing is it did come with new bolts. All right, let's get that caliper. All right, I'll run those bolts in. All right, caliper's mounted in there. Clears the spokes. Now we got to put the line in, solid line. I'll just hand tighten this till I get the rest of the lines in. All right, I had to grease this up. So I could at least get it. Oh boy. There we go. Now we'll take this off again. It's a lot of trial and error here. All right, we got that one started. I think we got that one started. Okay. Now I got to put the T up here that has the brake switch in it. So this took a lot longer than expected. I did tighten these up now. The reason it took so long is because of this T thing here with the brake switch. All these fittings, the banjo bolts, and inside here was full of gunk. So I had to clean all that out. I put this here. I didn't put the boot on it. It's not really tight because I want to make sure there's no leaks before I put that boot back on. So we can fill it up with brake fluid, and I'm going to let it gravity bleed. It's coming out pretty good. I don't see any air bubbles, so we'll tighten it. Oh, a couple. We'll let it go and we'll tighten it up. Now we're going to keep squeezing the handle. See some bubbles coming out. And like with the XS2, the more I used it, the better and better it got. So you're just going to work that last bit of air out that's at the master. Okay, Let me put this cap back on so I don't lose any more fluid. This isn't tight. I gotta find the throttle sleeve. Don't know what happened to it. Looked all high and low for it, and I cannot find it. I have to tear this place apart. Got a new clutch lever on here. Of course, the Master came with a new lever. I've got a new throttle tube, and that's because I cannot find my other throttle tube. I'm so organized here, but I've gone through all this like 3 times, and it's not here. So this is my new throttle tube. Another 10 bucks. I'm thinking maybe I accidentally threw it out last time. I don't know. It'll probably show up eventually when I don't need it anymore. So I got the throttle tube, the cables, and the grip on. There's a gap in here. I put that in as far as I could go. It's already bottoming out here. So yeah, you have 2 cables, a push and a pull. So you just have to make sure you get them right in here. There's 2 different threads though, so you really shouldn't be able to mess it up. Run it down behind the ear. They have to go under this backbone, and then one goes into here and the other into there. We'll hook those up and adjust those. Okay, so I put some grease in this little cavity here where the throttle tube rocks. Put some oil down the throttle cables. This is the return cable. That's the pull cable. So I can pull. I oiled up all these connections here where they pivot. Oiled up the choke lever. So that moves good. All right, so I think that part is done. I have to do the clutch cable, which goes right to here. All right, well, this was pretty easy. With this end off, I just pushed the cable in, and I was able to get it out of that sleeve. So now I should just be able to lift it up and get the cable through that slot there and get it out. All right, I hope the one I have is the correct one. So it looks to be the correct one, same length. And yes, it is a Honda clutch cable. Clutch cables are one of those things you do not want to snap and or be a cheap one and the ends fall off. So yeah, I went with a Honda one. I don't think it was that much more expensive than a regular one, and it's still available. I got it running up here, behind this coil bracket, down here, around here. You can tell that's where it was because of where it was worn off. Up through this hole here, and to here. Now, I am waiting for the adjuster. Okay, so I have the cable adjuster in. I still need to adjust the cable down on that side. What I wanted to do was take this side stand off. I already got the spring off. It looks a little bent. But the problem is the exhaust. You can't get that stud out without taking the exhaust off. Now, I could just spray paint it here and try to slap a new spring in it, but that wasn't the idea. So I think I'll be taking this exhaust off. So it was really just removing the 4 nuts on this side, pulling the little collar back, and then pulling these keepers out. And I have to disconnect this bracket here, which is on this footrest, which is fine because my new back footrest came. And these things, like I said, were under $10 for a pair. So while I got it off, we'll swap them out. And with the exhaust pipe off, I was able to get this off so now I can clean and paint this. Do have a new bolt to put through it. All right, a little cold today. Here we are, you know, getting mid-April, and it's still pretty cold out there. But I think I should be able to paint this anyway. I think this paint may go down to 50 degrees, so we'll give that a shot. So these aftermarket rear foot pegs, you know, they look close to what the originals are. The hole in this one is a little bit bigger. So what I'll do is I'll put a bolt through here with a larger washer, and that will keep the bolt centered in the hole there, seeing as the washer can't slide left or right. All right, let's figure out what's wrong with this signal light, why it's so loose here when the screw is tight. I only took the one screw out that holds it. Looks like the ground, well, that's quite bent, isn't it? So maybe that's the problem. I did get new rubber bushings for here too. But yeah, that's not looking good. All right, we'll straighten that out, and maybe we'll put our new signal light in. So even though I bent this closer together, it's very wavy. I don't know if you can see that. It's not straight. So what I plan on doing is getting a piece of metal, probably this. And what I'll do is I'll put this in here, get it around there, and then I'll tap it with a hammer until everything looks straight. So I tap that in there, and you can see how not straight this is. So we'll bang on that a little bit and see if we can get it nice and even. All right, that's pretty straight. Now I got the new rubber parts for here, but they didn't come with the collar, so I'll have to reuse that. Okay, these are my reproduction ones. That one's on nice and stiff now. I got to run the wire through there. The stem is a little shorter than the original one, but no one will be able to tell. And now I can do the other side. And through the magic of editing, we have the other one done. Also, we're going to start cleaning these up, like that one. Get a nice shine back on them so they're not all rusty. And I don't know if we can get those caps clean. All right, my battery just happened to run out as I was saying this, but we'll see if we can get these clean. If not, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're also replacing these too, so these have to come back off, even though I just put the cables and everything back on. I got the kickstand back on with the new spring. Looks nice and shiny now compared to the center stand. So I may just, when I get this out, clean it up, you know, blast it, clean it, and then spray it up. But that looks looking better. Those are looking better. My signal lights. All working. So that's good. You'll notice there's no nut anymore on here. It's on the black bomber. I have a new ignition switch for this. But I can put this exhaust back on again now. So I had to bend this tab on the new ones, the new footrest, to kind of match the angle of that tab, because the way they came, the angle was way out. So I'll bend this one too, and then I should be all set with those. The exhaust is back on. New footrests on both sides. I think I know now why the spring was bent. It goes in between the two exhausts, and it's really kind of like not a great idea, but yeah, maybe it was hitting one of the mufflers or one of the pipes. All right, that's it for me for today. I'll be back out doing more tomorrow. April 12th, this is what we woke up to today. Back to this stuff again. Yesterday I was painting parts. I painted that side stand, remember? Well, I got this snow and stuff on the ground. Okay, a lot of work to do today. I want to get these shocks cleaned up. I want to get this rear tire off, which means the chain guard, the rear fender coming off. I have a replacement for this. It's a aftermarket one, and this is cracked. I think I have one of those, so we'll get to taking this back end apart. I wrote signal ground and made like 1 ticks, 2 ticks, 3 ticks on these, and then same on the wires. So there's so few of them. This way it'll just be easier to figure out where they go. I gotta take these 2 bolts out, and I think the 2 that go through here. And I think that's all that's going to be holding this fender on. I took out the side bolts. It was interesting that one had no lock washer on it and one did. So I'm guessing that this fender has been off before. Alright. And that's it. The whole assembly comes off. Now it should be much easier getting this wheel off. I got to take the chain guard off and the chain. Ooh. You know what I should have checked? When I had this exhaust off, I should have checked that axle would, whether the axle would come out or not. Maybe if I lower the wheel down, I can pull the axle out when it comes up. That's unfortunate, because when I had exhaust off, I could have taken the axle out easy. There's my master link right there. I'll just pop that clip out, get that chain off. Okay, chain's off. I don't think I can pull this wheel back far enough to get this axle out. We'll see. I think I'm going to get lucky here. I think it's split at the end. So this, if I loosen the axle, it'll be able to slide all the way off, all the way out, with the axle in it. I backed these all the way out. There's a little push thing that slides in there. That's how I saw that this was split. After I took that open, I got to get this off, the cotter pin, this nut, and then this brake too here. And the brake stay down here. So the brake rod, the brake stay. Then I should be able to slide it right out. All right, so I took the whole brake arm off. Got the brake rod off here. Loosen the nut. There we go. Oh, good. I don't have to take the exhaust off. I don't know if I can hold you here while I pull this drum off. Maybe we can check the brakes. A little stuck on there, maybe? An idiot. Would help if I took this off. this all out of here. Now the drum should slide off. We hope. The shoes look good from here. We just got the axle stuck in there in the drum. All right, let me work on that and I'll get that off. All right. They're not bad. I do have another set, but these aren't bad at all. Okay. We already did the bearings and everything in the other rear wheel. We just got to get this axle out the rest of the way. That's stuck in there good, I'll tell you that. Hope it's stuck in this bearing and not the other side, because once it's through this, it should be easy to get out. I'll work on that. I've been doing some cleanup, so this is the end of the axle. Yeah, it's a little dinged up and stuff, but it's a lot better than it was. And I cleaned this too because it was that one bearing it was stuck in. I'm cleaning up these adjusters, chain adjusters too. They're not perfect, but doesn't warrant buying a new one. This is one of the axle spacers. I've still got to do this one. I'll show that after. Oh, what else? Oh yeah, I gotta do that drum, make that look good. All the other little various nuts and washers. Oh, I did the adjuster screws, clean them up. Yeah, so I'll come back after all that's done. Just be a minute for you, it'll be a lifetime for me. Here's what my brake lever looks like before. Here it is now. Is it perfect? Hell no. Is it better than it was? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, on to keep cleaning. Now for the rear wheel, I'm gonna change that sprocket, clean up the hub a little bit. And what I found was a new old stock setup that had 38 tooth pulley on it. It's got a little ding here, scratch there, but it's better than the other one, and it came with a new sprocket already on it, so we're going to install that. Well, the trick to this is to have a set of snap ring pliers big enough to get this huge snap ring out, which I don't, so I'll have to try to work with the ones I have. What I think I'm going to have to do is from the back side, smack it a few times, see if I can, I'm sure there's gunk built up on the top That's why it's not sliding off. I did try to sand it down a little. But we'll try that. We'll give that a few shots and see what happens. Can't say that I can see it moving yet. Oh yeah, it's moving. Definitely coming out. And when it comes out, it's going to fall and make a lot of noise. Almost out. Man, I didn't think those studs were that long. There we go. All right. I can clean up this hub some, and then we'll put the new one on. Get all these spider webs out of here. All right, I have this hub cleaned up about as good as I'm gonna get it. Shine the rim up, again with the steel wool and chrome. I took a Scotch spray pad around here and put a little thin layer of grease on it, and hopefully this slides on. Give us some light taps. We just want to get it down so we can get that snap ring back in. Okay, we're good. Now I got to battle with the snap ring. And there's a little spacer on it too. I clean these up some just because, you know, they look so dark on here when I put them on before. Now I got the fun of trying to get this in again. Hey, not as bad as I thought. Okay. This side gets the shorter of the two bushings. And is this wheel ready to go back on again? It might be. Now remember, I can put this through first. I greased it up some. Hopefully it goes through the bearings fairly easily. Get this off. May need a few taps to get it through. Starting to come through the other bearing. Should be able to slide our drum on soon. Our bigger spacer. And let's see. Am I forgetting anything here before we put this in? Well, let's hope not. That's actually pretty easy once you understand how it works. I think I'm going to take some time and clean these shocks up. A lot of rust on them. And see what they look like. Hopefully I can get away with it. I don't know if these springs are, going to clean up or not. Well, there's definitely a good side and a bad side to these springs. So I spun them so, the side that looks the best is out here. The chrome came out good up here, so down here. The bolt cleaned up okay. I got to do this nut and the washer up here, and then do the other side. All right, quick update. My other badge arrived, so I'll put that on. It's just some pins and some clips that do that. This shock came out pretty good, but this shock, the tower came out good, the cover and the bottom's okay, but the springs, there's just no chrome left on them. I put the inner fender well in that was missing from this bike. That was kind of a pain to get it lined up with these slots. I couldn't even show you how to do it. There's holes here that line up in the back that'll go through and connect to that fender. And that's what I'm going to be working on after I put this badge on. So these emblems are pretty cheap. They don't even really fit the contour that well. Plus the clips are really garbage. They're tiny, and I had to actually bang them with a hammer to flatten them out to get them to clip on. So who knows if this thing will stay. If you know your CB350s, you'll know that a 72 and a 73, this is the badge. A 74, however, had these colors reversed. This is a 74. They don't make a reproduction badge for this one. So that's what I got. That's what I'm going to use. I took the taillight assembly off of here, which gave me a chance to polish underneath that bracket. But, it is what it is. There's dings and all that. There's rust. But it is what it is. So I think the one I got here is chrome. I had to take all the wires out from under the fender. They go through these passages. So I have to do that. But like I said, let me unpackage that one. I got a new lens because that one's cracked. And yeah, we'll start to put that together. So this is the new one. It's chrome. I got to clean it up a little. I put the rubber standoffs on there. Now this one, I'm going to see how bent that thing actually is. I don't know if you can pick that up or not. I don't know what the heck happened to this bike. But yeah, so I got to take this off, polish that up, put it on that one, and then I can put it back on the bike. So with the assembly mounted on the fender, ran the wires up through the grommet, through here, around the bend, through here, through this grommet, and now I can mount this fender. Okay, rear fender's on. All the lights work again. Rear wheel is on. I have to take that cover off. Got to get to the front sprocket. So I can do that and the chain. Put the chain guard back on. And I think set it for the back. Oh, I got to put the nut, adjust the rear wheel. These carbs have to come back off again. Changing these boots. I got to get the air filter part of it in there. One thing I found out is that the clutches are stuck. When I had the chain on it and I put it in gear and pulled the clutch in, it couldn't move the rear wheel. It just kept, binding because it was acting like it was in gear without the clutch pulled in. So I'll have to do that. Pull that off. Check the clutches. They're probably stuck. I mean, it was, 30 years since this thing ran? Yeah, winding down. I got to put some mirrors on it. I think the threads are shot in this hole, so hopefully I can get mirrors long enough to put a nut on the back side of it. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. It is getting there. Also, I have a one-piece regulator rectifier I want to put in this. It's not going to mount properly. I'm going to have to make some bracket for it, but I already unplugged this to make sure the connector was the same. Oh yeah, I got to put the ignition switch in, the seat lock, replace that. I got to get the air filter, the toolbox, all that stuff. Yeah, there's still a bit, but definitely on its way to being back on the road. All right. I've got close to 900 subscribers. Man, I never thought I'd see that day. I want to thank you all very much for subscribing. And it makes me want to get out here and do this, because if I didn't have any subscribers, I'd probably just, do it a lot slower and a lot more, in between time where I wouldn't be out here. But yeah, it was a productive day today. All right. Take care. See you next time.